Oh, you stay here, Morrison.
Yes, sir. Cowley, sir.
Thank you, that's all. Sit down, Mr. Cowley. You know who I am. You can refuse to see me.
What do you want?
Information. It's up to you, Mr. Cowley.
3901 Cowley WA, not Mr. Cowley.
I gather you've settled in quite well.
I've got nothing to say.
Don't be a fool, man. What can you lose?
I've seen enough of Special Branch.
Do yourself some good.
You forget, I offered to help. Look where it got me.
We couldn't make a bargain with a traitor.
Now it's different.
Now you're serving a punishment.
I suppose I could help you. What do I get out of it?
No promises, no guarantees, nothing, but it'll be noted in the appropriate quarter.
Oh, marvellous. I can just see it on my file. Has cooperated. An extra sausage on Christmas Day. Will it cut my sentence? Will it get me out of here one day sooner?
Can't say. It's not up to me, but...
What is it you're so anxious to know, anyway?
Superintendent Eden not in. Where is he? I must get hold of him urgently.
I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Eden's not available at the moment.
He must be on the phone somewhere.
Not really, sir. Unless we try the scrubs. He's seeing somebody there. Is it that urgent?
Wormwood scrubs?
Yes, sir.
Seeing who?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't say, sir. Do you want me to try Mr. Eden there, or can I possibly wait till he's back?
Thank you. It can wait. Get me Romney House, the prison department, on the security line.
I'm sorry, you'll have to try elsewhere.
You can't help. Or you won't.
I'm not saying. I'm not going to betray anybody, or anything.
It wouldn't be the first time, Cowley.
All of a sudden, it's not Mr. anymore.
10 years is a long time.
Don't worry. I won't be in here 10 years. They'll get me out. They'll exchange me. The people I helped won't forget me.
You really believe that?
They got Abel out. Lonsdale, Blake. My turn's coming.
You're a bigger fool than I thought.
You see, they're loyal to their people.
Their people, yes. Abel, a general in the KGB. Lonsdale, a colonel. Russians, dedicated. What are you, Cowley? A petty thief who stole a few documents for money.
I gave them good value.
Now you're useless to them. You served your purpose.
Well, they can't just leave me to rot in here.
Russians don't exchange traitors. They only use them. I finished it.
All right, sir. Come along, you.
I'm sure they won't let me
Forget
go.
it, Carly. They already have.
If I thought I had to stay here 10
You
years...
better start getting used to it.
What right has Eden to question this man in prison?
Mr. Moxon, sir. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. He's already here.
Cowley, if you recall...
He's the officer in charge of the case.
The case is closed.
Hardly. The key man got away. Somebody tipped him off.
Indeed, all of which is a matter for the security service.
Eden knows his terms of reference.
Really? Did you authorize this prison interview?
No.
Did you even know about it?
I don't know of every single routine inquiry my officers make.
Routine? You call this routine?
Look, like all of us here, Mr. Eden dislikes unfinished business. Now, he's had a brilliant career. He doesn't want to end it with an unsolved case.
I'm not interested in one man's personal ambition. This is national security.
I really can't see what possible harm there is in trying to find out if Cowley has any more information.
Security does not have to justify itself, even to you. That is established precedent.
Is this meeting official?
No need. I'm sure I can take it that there'll be no more unauthorized interviews of security prisoners.
We shall follow routine procedures, as always.
Thank you.
Now, if you'll excuse me, Charles, I have that wretched liaison meeting in 10 minutes.
Of course, my dear chap. I almost forgot. Just a small routine matter.
When you say routine, I cancel all my arrangements.
Good heavens, nothing like that. We need a positive vetting on him.
I'll pass it through the usual channels.
We need it rather more quickly than that.
Oh?
The chap's being appointed right away. He'll be our delegate at the Geneva conference next week.
We can't do a positive vetting in a week.
Well, actually, most of the stuff is already there. This is just a formality. If you can tie up any loose ends. We've got the green light.
Dr. Foster Hamilton. Ah, yes, director of the Institute of Advanced Study.
Open house to scientists throughout the free world. Not just NATO, but Japan, India, Africa.
And suddenly he needs a security clearance.
Oh, we know him.
Then
Well,
why...
informally, so to speak. But now he's being appointed head of the Ilchester Biochemical Defense Center. Regulations require the full vetting bit.
In 1 week?
5 days, actually.
Oh, really?
Whitehall feels it's a shrewd move to appoint a man with such a liberal, progressive background to what the public think is a rather sinister project. Removes the bogey a bit. Will make a big impact in Geneva.
I like the way you say liberal, progressive background.
Sometimes you sound like the FBI. I tell you, Foster Hamilton is clean.
In 5 days?
I'm afraid so. It's a formality.
I'll assign somebody myself.
Excellent. Maybe somebody who cuts across red tapes and formalities.
Ah, I think I have the very man. A bit unorthodox, but that won't worry you.
Am I thinking of the same man?
Jordan.
That's right. Chief Inspector Jordan. I find him a little hard to take.
Really?
Sloan 5128? That's right. Oh, but he's off duty.
Hey, is that for me?
Yes, the yard. I've told them you're off duty.
Do you mind? Do you mind? Hello? Yes, this is Jordan here. Huh? Yes, all right, yeah. Fine. I'll be there in half an hour.
Oh, but you can't do that. It's your day off.
Do you know something? I wish you let me answer the phone when I'm here.
Why? So they don't know you're staying with me?
No, so that you don't tell them it's my day off.
I'm sorry I embarrass you. I'll get you some coffee.
Hey, now wait. Just a little minute now. Now then, tell me, is that better? I'm sorry, but you see, I'm never off duty.
I've heard that so many times. Why don't you give it all up? Daddy can fix you up with a job paying 5 times as much and free days.
Well, I don't want Daddy's job, and you wouldn't want me if I did.
Oh, I'm not so sure. Why on earth do you want to be a policeman anyway?
I am not a policeman. I mean, not like that. I'm special branch.
That still makes you a copper, like the bastard that booked me in Sloane Street.
I don't book people. You know damn well what I do.
All I know is that you promised to take me to Maidenhead tonight.
Maidenhead. Well, now, they owe me 5 days. That'll mean we'll have a week together. I mean, almost a week together.
Providing Black Power doesn't strike, or the anarchists blow up Trafalgar Square.
Or someone sabotages dear Daddy's factories, and then Where would you be, my lovely?
Now, if you think that I'm going to wait for you for 30 years and then live on a copper's pension of 10 bob a week, you'd better think again.
Well, I know I can't afford you.
So?
But you can't afford me.
You're a bastard, and I adore you.
I better go.
You know, Daddy really does need a good man to take charge of security in his companies.
Good, good. Tell him to get hold of Eden. Now, I'm too young to be a glorified night watchman.
Who is Eden?
Who? Eden? Superintendent Eden, my boss. Should be in mothballs. He soon will be.
And when do I see you?
Let me see now. Tonight. In bed.
I'm putting Jordan on the Foster Hamilton security check.
Yes, sir.
He's off duty, really, but it's urgent. And it is his kind of job.
Quite so, sir.
You're being very non-committal, Tom. How do you feel about Jordan?
I'm not to complain about. It's just that he's not my kind of copper. He doesn't dress like one, he doesn't look like one, he doesn't talk like one.
Which makes him ideal for the special branch.
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, I mean, let's face it, we've got, what, 242 chief inspectors in the force? Can't expect them all to be alike.
Of course not. He's a good man. It's just that when in my day, he'd have been on report for his haircut alone. But now every other bobby seems to have a beard aside from it.
We've got to face it, Tom, you and I. We're a dying breed.
With respect, I think we've got some life left.
Yes, perhaps a little too much for some people.
Who?
Oh, our lords and masters upstairs, and Moxon. Look, Tom, why didn't you tell me you wanted to question Cowley?
Well, I had nothing to go on. Just a feeling that he might have known a lot more, and I am the investigating officer.
Moxon says it's strictly security service, nothing to do with us.
I have a warrant outstanding for Greenaway. I intend to execute it.
I don't need to tell you our job, right?
Yes, sir.
We execute the wishes of security service.
Yes, sir.
Their wish is hands off.
I understand.
You will regard that as an order?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to make this official, but I'm sure you understand what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Well, how's everything else, Tom?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Made any plans yet?
What for, sir?
Your retirement. If ever a man's earned his pension, you have.
I hope to get my year's extension.
Yes, of course. Anyway, there'll always be a copper called Eden right there. How's your son doing,
He's taking his sergeant's exam soon.
Good. Good. Does he like Liverpool?
Loves it. Says it's tough, hard, and a good bunch of coppers.
There'll always be room for him in the Met.
He's made his decision.
You don't think we'll ever see him in the special branch?
I hope not, sir.
I must say, prison can be very pleasant these days.
Prison is never pleasant, Mr. Moxon. I take it you are not exactly with the police.
Yes. I am not.
Sit down, Morris. This is the gentleman. I'll leave you now.
Tea? There's a spare cup. My name is Moxon. I am from the Home Office.
DI-5.
2 lumps? Milk?
I remember you at the Old Bailey. You were sitting with the special branch, but you didn't give evidence.
I never do. This is a beautiful place.
If you like prison.
I'll come to the point, Miss Morris. I am only here to see if you have everything you need. And if there's anything I can get to, if I can help in any way.
Is that really the reason you're here?
I don't know what else there could be.
Well, for instance, if I had any information.
Wouldn't security be interested?
Do you have information?
I wish I had. Told a lot.
Really?
Don't you think I want to get out? Don't you think I'd help all I could?
But you have nothing beyond the statement you made to Special Branch in Holloway.
Cowley knew something? Has he talked yet?
I don't know. No, really. We are not as well organized as the KGB, I'm afraid. Wires get crossed and that sort of thing.
Moxon. I was an idiot. I got myself into something I didn't understand. It was too late.
But if anything does come to mind, we'll always be very happy to listen. Just one thing.
Yes?
Tell us.
Tell you?
Yes, us. Us to see me. Don't talk to anybody. People like Eden and Jordan. You remember them at your trial.
So I remember them only too well.
You just tell us. We're not so hidebound. We have more latitude. We can sometimes help. So, you tell us, all right?
I wish I could. But I promise. I shall think and think. And if I can remember anything I haven't already thought of, I'll let you know immediately. I really will, Mr. Moxon. Not them. Just you.
Thank you, Miss Morris. If you want to get in touch, the governor knows where to reach me. Don't forget now.
You got what you wanted, Mr. Moxon?
I think so. Oh, by the way, could you do me a small favor?
I can.
If anyone tries to visit Miss Moxon, to question her, you know, would you let my office know immediately?
If who tries, Mr. Moxon? Lawyers? The police? Who?
Anybody, if you'd be so good. Anybody at all. Oh, and thank you for the tea.
You know, sir, sometimes I question the whole point of this positive vetting system.
Really, Jordan?
Well, I mean, the more dangerous a man's likely to be, the more immaculate is his background.
Quite. So we must take every safeguard we can.
Yeah, well, positive vetting didn't stop Philby from being a Russian spy inside security for 30 years.
Perhaps it wasn't positive enough.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I'm sure you'll do a very thorough job on Foster Hamilton.
Well, I've already checked him through Central Register. He seems a very interesting man.
Yes, well, you'll notice from Moxon's file that the doctor's background was checked out during his visits to America.
Yeah, I've already noted that, sir.
Now, the FBI gave him a clean bill while he was over there, and that includes his year at Princeton.
Yes, sir.
So it's all pretty plain sailing.
Yes.
Thank you, that'll be all, Jordan.
You sent for me, sir?
Oh, yes, sir. Come in, Mr. Eden, please. Oh, and Jordan.
Yeah.
I want your file on my desk within 4 days. Give it utmost priority.
Yes, sir.
Afraid I've got some bad news for you, Tom.
Uh-huh.
Yes. The Troika business is being referred to the Security Commission. I'm sorry.
That means they'll be taking the case out of my hands.
Everything. The leak, how Greenaway got away, your handling of the investigation, the lot.
These things take months.
Unfortunately. I'm afraid you'll be under a cloud for a bit.
But why? I was working on it. I hadn't closed the case. Why don't they let me get on with it?
Perhaps you stepped on somebody's toe? Or perhaps they want a completely impartial investigation. They may be right.
You mean they suspect somebody?
You know the Security Commission. They suspect anything and anybody. They might even suspect one of us.
We were divorced 2 years ago, but we're still very good friends.
You are?
Of course.
May I ask who divorced?
I did. But I don't understand why this should be of interest to you.
Well, it's just routine, you see. It's a background check on your husband, ex-husband.
I wish him every success. He's taking on quite a job.
What, you know, do you?
Didn't you say?
No, I didn't say.
I must have heard it somewhere. Such a small world, isn't it?
What, you own all this, do you?
Yes, I'm Luciano, as far as the Board of Trade goes. Actually, Luciano is the dishy Italian over there.
Luciano, that's very Italian.
Actually, he's called Fred and comes from Dollars Hill. The people in this kind of place mustn't be called Fred. I stole him from Bond Street, made him my manager.
And you called the place after him?
I had to do something to earn my living when I broke up with Foster. The name seemed right. I can't call it Zoe Hamilton, can I now?
No, there's just a couple of points. I believe your husband was quite active in left-wing circles at one time.
Was he really? I don't think it meant anything.
Did he ever have any communist leanings?
Do excuse me. Oh, yes, Mrs. Harris. That will do fine. Next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. Luciano himself, of course. Thank you. What was it you were asking, Inspector?
I was just asking whether or not your husband was a communist. Sympathizer.
We didn't even talk about it.
But you were husband and wife.
Do you tell your wife everything?
Well, I'm not married, I'm afraid.
Look here, Inspector. Chief Inspector, my husband is a brilliant man. Whatever our personal differences, I wish him well. And I think all the security business is a load of rubbish.
What were your personal differences?
I don't see what that has to do with you.
I can make further inquiries, madam.
Oh, I don't see why I should be all coy about it. My husband likes women. A lot of women. I just got fed up with it.
Do you mind if I sit down?
Please do.
Now tell me, was there one particular woman?
There's always one particular woman in the end.
And who was she?
A girl called Mavis Caldry. C-A-L-D-R-Y.
Thank you.
He met her at one of those ban the bomb things. But that's got nothing to do with it. Put away your deerstalker, Chief Inspector. Mavis is one of those sexy little things people like my husband can't resist.
What year was this?
Oh, 62 or 63. She went to jail, you know.
What for?
Refusing to be bound over to keep the peace or something. But don't jump the wrong way. The reason Mavis went on things like Aldermaston was because it was the greatest pick-up opportunity of her dreams.
And yet she felt strong enough about her principles to go to prison for them.
You sound just like my husband. I think Mavis insisted on jail because she thought they'd sleep together in one big communal cell. Then the silly cow found herself in Holloway surrounded by females.
Did you cite this girl in your divorce?
No, the lawyer arranged all that with my husband. Of course, Mrs. Furbish. 3 p.m. on Thursday. No, Luciano's booked, I'm afraid, but you can have Ronaldo. Of course. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Hamilton. You've been a great help. Now, if I need anything further, I know where to contact you.
It's my pleasure, Chief Inspector.
Thank you very much, madam. Well, I've checked on this Mavis Caldry through Central Registry. Now, she is not the flighty little bit that Mrs. Hamilton would like me to believe.
What is she, then?
Well, she did a month in Holloway for refusing to be bound over. That was that big C&D job. Then she was fined £10 for smashing a window in South Africa House, £25 for assaulting a policeman at Holy Lock, and he met her on one of those ban the bomb marches.
Come along, Jordan. We know her type. She's a professional demonstrator. That doesn't mean that Dr. Hamilton is a security risk.
But this nutter is his girlfriend.
But you haven't seen him yet. You don't even know if they're still associated.
But the very fact that they were shows his sympathies towards her.
I tell you what I think is much more significant.
Which is what, sir?
That Mrs. Hamilton very successfully put the boot in about her ex-husband with you. This Mavis Bird isn't even the correspondent. But of all the women that Hamilton was associating with, this Mavis is the most likely to interest you. She very successfully fixed her husband.
Well, I mean, there's no denying that this Mavis does rankle her, but I believe that she's got good reason for singling this girl out.
But this woman knows that we're not interested in her husband's love affairs. Mavis is something different. So she dripped in the poison.
Anyway, Mrs. Hamilton says that she and her ex-husband are still very good friends.
Morrissey, come here a minute, will you? I want to know what you've turned up.
Yes, sir.
Take my tip, Jordan. When a divorced woman says that about her former husband, take cover.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Then, well, give us the rundown as far as you've got.
Yes, sir. Well, the financial situation is quite sound. There's no unusual sums in or out, steady pattern, no overdraft.
I wish my bank account was like that.
Yes, sir.
Go on, Morrissey.
Well, the landlady where he stayed while he was doing postgraduate work is dead.
Well, how long it took you to find that?
Never mind that. What else?
He gets the Times and the Guardian delivered, and Dr. Hamilton was fined 20 shillings in Newbury, Berkshire in 1959 for causing an obstruction with his car in the marketplace.
Go on, Morrissey. He sounds a real security risk.
Yes, sir. He belongs to the usual scientific societies. Oh, yes. He often eats in a Greek restaurant in Bayswater. Do you want the owner's name?
No, not really, Morrissey.
Now here it is, sir. Dr. Hamilton was one of the sponsors and a signatory of a petition seeking clemency for Klaus Fuchs, the atom traitor. That was in the 50s. You remember Fuchs, sir?
Yes, Morrissey, I remember Fuchs. I remember him very well.
Oh, I wondered when you'd be coming.
Well, it's just a formality, sir.
So they told me when I filled in the forms. Well, where do we start?
Well, sir, I don't think I need keep you very long.
What? Should you want to know my great-grandmother's unmarried name on my father's side, or the nationality of birth of my second cousin's third great-uncle?
Well, I think we got all that, sir.
Then what?
Well, it's just a couple of routine things. Of course, you were quite left-wing as a student.
Well, who wasn't?
You joined the Students for Peace group at Cambridge, I believe.
Oh, you people are very thorough. Yes, I did. And I left it.
Oh, how so?
By walking away.
You also helped organize a petition for the release of Fuchs, the atom traitor.
You must have an army of men digging up these ancient tidbits. Yes, I did help with a petition to get Fuchs paroled.
Why, sir, didn't you think he was a traitor?
He was still a human being. And for a brilliant brain like that to be locked up for 14 years was hell. And I thought he should be sent back to Germany.
I see, sir.
Well, it wasn't that I approved of what he'd done. I didn't. I'd have done the same for a murderer.
Did you, sir?
Did I what?
Organize a petition for a murderer.
He was a scientist. There was a greater kinship, obviously. It was a humanitarian thing.
At the time of career, I believe you spoke at Conway Hall, Red Line Square.
So long ago. Career, I've forgotten all about it.
I believe you said that United Nations were Uncle Sam's puppets. Do you recall saying anything like that, sir?
Let's say I recognize it.
And a lot more stuff like it.
I now, Inspector...
Chief Inspector Jordan, sir.
Yes, this was all 18 years, a long time ago. Before Hungary, before Czechoslovakia.
I see, sir.
Weren't you left-wing, joined McCarthy?
You took part in... Oh, thanks, sir. You took part in 3 Order-Marston marches.
Of course.
May I ask why?
Because I am opposed to weapons of mass destruction.
And do you think you can reconcile that with taking over the chemical warfare establishment, sir?
Biochemical defense, Inspector. There's no contradiction anyway. The only way to avert this horror is to be able to defend yourself.
Would you have said that 20 years ago, sir?
Probably not. The world changes, a man changes.
Does the name Mavis Caudry mean anything to you, sir?
Mr. Moxon on the line, sir.
Deputy Commander.
Merely a quick buzz. My lords and masters are anxious to have the Foster Hamilton clearance as soon as possible. If you could hurry it up, I'd be very grateful.
You'll have our findings tomorrow.
Excellent. You haven't come across any snags?
Should we?
No, of course not. I told you there's no problem about Foster Hamilton.
You seem very positive.
I am indeed. As I told you before, they only want this done for formality's sake. Anyway, tomorrow then.
That's right.
I do appreciate your cooperation.
I only hope your lords and masters do.
Of course, my dear chap. They always do.
I object to you picking up malicious gossip and making something of it.
I believe you form quite an attachment to Miss Caudry, sir. I mean, the only reason we're interested is the fact that she has come to our notice previously.
You mean my ex-wife's been at it?
Are you still associating with Miss Caudry, sir?
And what if I am?
Do you mind just answering my question, please?
I find this degrading.
Well, I'm very sorry. Well, sir?
I last saw Mavis in 1963, since when I've had one Christmas card from her. Now, Have I purged myself sufficiently?
Oh, what, sir? You were drawn towards her because you shared political views?
I was drawn towards her because I found her a very charming and attractive woman.
And why have you stopped seeing each other, sir?
Now, Inspector, that is our business.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I think that'll be all.
Right, you no more questions? You don't want to know if I read the Morning Star or take my holidays in Cuba?
Yes, but you don't, do you, sir?
Or the campus demonstration I attended in Berkeley?
The FBI are quite satisfied with your activities in the United States, sir.
And you don't believe I'm making time bombs out of all this stuff?
I'm sorry that you find this tiresome, sir. But I can assure you it is necessary. You've been most helpful, sir. Goodbye.
And I have your kind permission to start my job?
I shall be making my report. Good day, sir.
Let's go out, Elliot.
Cambridge. I must finish this first, eh?
Well, we've got to eat. What is it, anyway?
It's, a report.
Can't it wait?
No.
Finish it at the office. In the morning.
No, this has got to be ready, written in the morning, joint.
Why? Someone going to be assassinated?
Maybe.
Hello, Le Fontainebleau? This is Sonia Gibbs. I want a table for 2 for dinner. 10 o'clock? Fine. We are going out. I have booked.
I've got to finish this.
They don't expect us till 10.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'll be finished by 10.
We've got to eat.
Well, I'll grab a sandwich in the kitchen.
There's nothing in the kitchen.
Well, I will survive. But he... Look, darling, I've got
You know what you and your bloody police force do.
And we feel that this group, although noisy, is comparatively harmless. And I'm confident that they will not provoke a major breach of the peace. Although, obviously, all normal precaution. Yes? I'm in dictation.
Sorry, sir. Mr. Moxon's here. Says he wants to see you right away.
Oh, all right.
Sorry to bust in, Eaton, but this can't wait. I thought you ought to know right away.
Know what?
I'm afraid Cowley's killed himself. They've just found his body hanging in his cell. Yes, it is very unfortunate, isn't it?
So, you can't give him a clean bill, eh, Jordan?
That is correct, sir.
And you recommend that his security clearance be withheld?
Yes, indeed I do, sir.
Do you agree, Mr. Eden?
I'm not sure, sir. I'd like Mr. Jordan to clarify the reasons for his refusal.
Well, Jordan?
Well, I think they're all in there. Leffing at Cambridge, Fuchs' inflammatory speeches at the time of career, Ban the bomb supporter. In my view, Dr. Foster Hamilton is unreliable. I mean, quite apart from his early political background, I believe the man is devious.
Devious? Can you substantiate
Yes,
that?
indeed I can, sir. Now, he told me he'd stopped associating with Mavis Caudry in 1963. And yet the moment I left him, he called her. I'm very glad that my request for telephone surveillance had been authorized.
All right, but the conversation shows that they hadn't in fact been meeting each other. He was only warning her that Special Branch had questioned him and might be coming round to see her.
Why should he warn her, sir?
Well, they'd be very close once.
He still has her telephone number, sir.
And don't you have an ex-girlfriend's number in your book, Jordan?
Not one that's in our file, sir.
If we banned every man who was left-wing at university and had a Bolshevik girlfriend, there'd be nobody to do classified work.
I believe the rule is, sir, when in doubt, don't take chances. That is what I'm saying.
All the same, the Americans think he smells sweet.
And you know my views of the American men.
Nevertheless, they are very thorough. All right then, gentlemen. Jordan, as officer in charge of screening, recommends no clearance. Now, you've read the file, Mr. Eden, and you disagree, is that right?
I hate guilt by association. So, he had this girlfriend, he spoke at that meeting, he signed such and such a petition. He was fairly honest in his answers, I think.
Yes, but would you let him run a place like Ilchester Centre?
Well, knowing what they do at Ilchester, I agree, we must be careful. And yet... All right, we can't gamble. I concur.
Thank you. I'll let Moxon's people know we're not satisfied. Oh, Jordan, let me congratulate you on the speed and efficiency with which you carried out this investigation.
Thank you, sir.
Can you spare me a few moments, Mr. Eden? You know, I'm not really sure I can stand that man. Where the devil does he get those dreadful clothes from?
Frankly, I don't want to know, sir.
I admit his work's good, but Sir Harold Scott would have had a fit.
I know just what you mean, sir.
Anyway, that's not really what I wanted to... Look, Tom, I'm afraid you're going to have to appear at that inquest.
Who? Cowley?
Yes, I'm afraid so. The coroner's asked for you as a witness.
I see.
Tom, be careful. I mean, publicity, that sort of thing, you know. It could be very, very difficult. Watch yourself.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thomas Edward Eden, Detective Superintendent, Metropolitan Police, attached to New Scotland Yard.
Ah, yes, Superintendent. I believe you visited the deceased 24 hours before this happened.
Yes, sir.
Did he give any indication that he was particularly depressed or might take his life?
No, sir.
Was anything worrying him?
Only the fact that he was serving a long sentence.
Quite so. Yet he seemed to settle in reasonably.
I think so.
That's really about all you can tell us, isn't it?
Yes.
Very well, I won't detain you any longer.
By your leave, sir, I have some questions on behalf of the deceased's family.
Go ahead, Mr. Fraser.
You haven't been absolutely precise about your job, have you, Superintendent?
I'm a Detective Superintendent attached to New Scotland Yard.
You're Special Branch, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And the deceased was serving 10 years for offences under the Official Secrets Act?
That is, sir.
And you were the officer in charge of the case?
Yes, sir.
I'm obliged. Now tell me, why did you go to see Mr. Cowley?
It was a routine matter.
Oh, really? Do you always visit prisoners serving sentences as a matter of routine?
If I believe that they can assist my inquiries, yes.
And how could Mr. Cowley help you?
With respect, I cannot see that this is relevant.
Well, I am reluctant to limit the representative of the deceased's family.
Thank you, sir. This officer was the last visitor that Mr. Cowley had. We have heard that Cowley had settled down, that he had accepted his sentence and his existence in prison. Then he is visited by Superintendent Eden, and within 24 hours, he hangs himself. Now then, Superintendent, this visit was, of course, official.
Yes, in a way.
Was it or was it not?
It was in the course of my duties.
Did you consult your superiors?
No.
Did you have any written authority?
No.
Did you go to the prison alone?
No, another officer drove me.
And this other officer, forgive me...
Detective Constable Morrissey.
Also Special Branch?
Yeah.
And this Detective Constable Morrissey, he was, of course, present and witnessed your interview with the deceased?
No, I told Detective Constable Morrissey to wait for me in the car outside.
Because you didn't want any witnesses?
No, because I didn't need him at the interview.
And, of course, it was an interview, wasn't it? It wasn't an interrogation. You didn't make any threats, did you? Threats to a helpless man locked up in prison?
Of course not.
Then why should Cowley decide to kill himself after your visit?
I think, Mr. Fraser, that is a matter for me and the jury.
Well, of course, sir, it is for you to decide the dead man's state of mind. I would only point out why it got into the state that it did. Now then, Superintendent Eden, would it surprise you to know that Mr. Cowley had in fact recently been quite optimistic about his chances of coming out of prison?
I've no idea what he would base this on.
I'm instructed that he felt reasonably hopeful that he may be released in the near future. He was quite cheerful about it.
I wouldn't know, sir.
Yet as a result of what you said to him in that room, he became so desperate that suicide seemed the only solution.
No, sir.
You are on oath, Superintendent.
I'm sure the witness doesn't have to be reminded.
Thank you, sir.
Perhaps, I may refresh his memory. May I show him the note, sir? We have heard that the prison authorities found this note in the dead man's cell. Now, take it, Superintendent, take it. Read it, please. Aloud, if you please.
There is no hope for me now. I realize I am finished. God help my family.
Well, Superintendent?
I cannot help you, I'm afraid.
Indeed. How very convenient. You've really no idea why he should have written this?
No, sir.
Very well. Never mind what the dead man wrote. What did you say to him?
Yes, Mr. Eden?
What did you say to him that made him kill himself?
I said nothing that would have made him do that.
Perhaps others are the best judge of that. What was this interview really about?
Yes, Mr. Eden?
Well, Mr. Eden, what was it about?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not prepared to answer that.
Can you give me a reason, Superintendent?
Yes, sir. National security. I'm not prepared to answer this sort of thing in open court.
You make it very awkward, Mr. Eden. I really don't feel justified in continuing this inquest in camera. I detest secret courts.
Sir, I'm entirely in your hands. I would only draw your attention to the fact that this officer went on what appears to have been a completely irregular visit to the dead man, without any form of verbal or written authority from any of his superiors, that he saw him in private, having first ordered one of his colleagues to stay outside the room, and that he now refuses to state what was said. I have made my point.
You're not prepared to answer Mr. Fraser's questions?
No, sir, not in open court.
Those your instructions?
It is my own decision, sir.
On grounds of security?
Yes, sir.
Very well, Superintendent. You may step down. Members of the jury, the issue here is really quite simple. All we're concerned with is how William Arthur Cowley came to his death. You may feel that the evidence of Superintendent Eden is not wholly satisfactory in some aspects, but that is not a matter for us. He has invoked national security, and we cannot challenge that. If there was anything irregular about his visit to the deceased, then no doubt his superiors will take the appropriate action. From the evidence you have heard, it seems clear that the deceased hanged himself in his cell and was dead when the door was unlocked. He left a note, which, although it doesn't explain his motive, makes his intention clear. You may feel that the only appropriate verdict is that William Arthur Cowley did kill himself. Do you wish to retire to consider your verdict? Yes, Mr. Foreman.
We're all in agreement.
What is your verdict?
That the deceased took his own life.
And his state of mind?
While the state of his mind was disturbed.
Very well. I record that William Arthur Cowley killed himself while the balance of his mind was disturbed. Thank you.
Rise for Her Majesty's coroner.
Excuse me, Superintendent Eden, is there anything you can add?
Ring Press Bureau.
Why was Special Branch so interested in Cowley? The trial was over ages ago.
Ring Press Bureau.
Only trying to get the story right.
Write what the hell you like.
Get me Superintendent Eden.
He's already waiting for you, sir.
Right, send him in. Seen them all?
Not all. Enough.
You certainly gave them good copy.
Well, what else could I do?
Did it have to be quite so melodramatic? Refusing to give evidence, objecting to an open court, invoking national security.
Was I supposed to let out everything? Did you want me to tell the world that a security leak messed up the Troika case? That the key man managed to get away?
All right, Tom. I know you had a hard time. It was all very, very difficult. But all this...
I'm sorry. I was trapped. Either I told the truth or I kept quiet.
Well, you know how they hate this kind of publicity upstairs.
Well, what now?
Nothing. Carry on as usual. You've got a busy time ahead.
But what about this?
What?
Irregular action, appropriate steps by the authorities. Doesn't there have to be a sacrificial lamb?
Called Eden? No, Tom. No, the damage is done. You'll make it good. Oh, Tom, don't go. I'm expecting Mr. Moxon in a moment. I'd like you to stay.
Why, sir?
With that gentleman, there's safety in numbers.
Mr. Moxon, sir.
Send him in. Sit down, Tom.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Sit down, Moxon.
I must congratulate you. A truly remarkable performance.
Not on my part.
All these headlines make a nice smokescreen while much more important things happen.
Really?
I only came to say that Dr. Foster Hamilton is now head of the Ilchester Biochemical Defense Center. He's flying to Geneva today.
But we recommended no clearance.
Yes, I know, but it was only a recommendation.
This turns positive vetting into a farce.
No, not at all. It's invaluable. Most useful to them.
And they pay no attention to it?
No, they must have the last word. In this case, they have decided it is best to give him the job.
In heaven's name, why?
They know best. Gentlemen, it really has nothing to do with me. You might say I'm just the messenger boy.
I hope they don't live to regret it.
My dear Eden, you've done your side of it. But let's face it, with people like Foster Hamilton, it's just a formality.
Jordan's report was no formality.
There is no risk at all. Why, I was up at Cambridge with him.
Oh,
I know Foster Hamilton inside out. We were both rowing blues. You get to know a man at Cambridge, you know. Would you care to join me for lunch at the club?